Peace. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to the Fish Talk with myself, Robert, and our special guest tonight is Alex. How y'all doing?
Don't forget to like Skipper's stream.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Oh, my. So how was y'all's week and weekend? Well, I guess the weekend's pretty much over after tonight.
I guess so. Yeah. Well, I made one of my jars for the Pack-a-Bowl contest. And then tonight, before they close, I'm hoping to go to a local shop and pack this giant mayonnaise-looking jar thing. So I want to get a piece of manzanita that makes it all the way out of there if I can find one. Tom Barr, who does a lot of collecting of that stuff, he ships a container shipment once a year to aquariums then. And so I usually, since I used to work there, I can usually go in and trade him something for it. So
that's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with trading. That's easy.
Yeah. I try to avoid that whole money thing as much as possible.
Yeah, because none of us got it grown on a tree in the backyard. If somebody does,
right?
Find that person.
That Alexander Engelhart may.
Yeah.
No, that dude works hard. He's always flying all over the place. He's like, oh, I'm in Boston, and he's like, I'll call you in 4 hours when I'm in Cleveland, and I'm like, oh okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he works for like HelloFresh, I think. He's like a VP for the company or something.
Yeah, he said that on Rico Stan's stream.
Oh, that's right. I haven't watched that yet.
Oh,
but he happens to live like 5 miles from me, so we've talked quite a bit. So I'd like to watch that though, just to see like what I've missed that I've just never asked and whatnot. You know.
Yeah, what you don't know about him, the dirty secret.
Yeah. Did he show off his pictures at all?
I don't remember that part.
Because he's got pictures that if you usually you can't find him on Facebook, I don't think, without him like wanting you to find him or whatever. And he's got pictures with him with President Obama and
he didn't show pictures like
a bunch of different military stuff. But he was the actual guard in the Oval Office, like the Marine in the Oval Office or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
that's what he said.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So like each year he has a picture with like his wife, him, and the Obamas, and like a couple military people, like for a Christmas card type thing. But I was like, oh yeah, just on Facebook, you know, whatever, just chilling with the president, like no big deal.
Yeah, it's no big deal. All right, so I'm gonna go through and say some hellos since we got quite a few people in here.
I can't see anybody, so go for it.
We got Eduardo. How you doing? Skull Aquatics, Michelle E. 503 Aquatics. We all know who Shanna is.
Animal.
She's trouble. And we got Dr. Anthony.
Great.
Fitz, how you doing? Man, great, right? You're going to start talking some crap in the chat or something. Richard Reynolds, how you doing? Susie Q. Aqua Balls. Eric Y. Rock. Bob Kaler. Aquaria Life. Dee Dee, how you doing? Sketty Nonia. I think I finally got that right. Mexicali Fish Keeper, Sandy Dowdy. Patty Petite Tanks, how you doing, Patty?
Patty.
Oh, and this damn thing just jumped on me. Michael Morgan, how you doing?
I see Dee Dee and Bunny Viper. See
Bunny
a couple
Viper.
people.
Rachel Beard. Yeah, that sounds right.
Hi, Richard.
Let's see. I think that's everybody.
Do we get Richard Reynolds and Michael Morgan?
Yep.
Okay. I should pay attention. Bigfoot.
We got Dennis in the chat. Hey, Dennis.
Yeah.
He was the first one.
Was he?
Actually, there was another one that was the first one. It's Corey Doris.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We got Michelle and Rico standing. Hello.
Rico.
Oh, Rico.
He's saying
Suave.
he ain't supposed to be.
Rico.
He ain't supposed to be on YouTube. It's the weekend. He gonna get in trouble.
Uh-oh.
Slap him.
I think he may well be addicted. I think it's past that point of things.
We got Lady Metalhead. Hello and welcome.
And Steph says you're pulling to meet Machine Gun Kelly with your nail polish. Loves it.
Yeah, I just got to work on the physique. If I could get down to a Machine Gun Kelly physique, then things would be, clicking.
Well, I didn't know that she knew who Machine Gun Kelly was.
Not the old school one, though, of course. If anybody's watching is like, who the heck is that? I don't think he painted his nails. You'd probably be in trouble if you painted your nails in the 1920s.
Casual Aquatics is going on, buddy. Only Oscars. Hello and welcome.
Oh, Patty's here, guys.
Oh yeah, watch out, Patty's here.
Petite Patty. Hello, Patty.
So Bunny Viper says thank you again for gifting her that prize. She's been waiting for these guppies for 2 years, and the desire for these is what got me back in the hobby this time.
Aw.
She's doing the tank now.
Well, Miss Bunny Viper, you are very, very welcome, and I hope you enjoy them.
Oh,
Nice.
Michelle's out getting pizza, so you won't get in trouble. Thanks for coming in, though. Appreciate it. If y'all have any questions for him, just put it in the chat. I'll pull it up. But other than that, how many tanks do you have set up in your house?
I think I've got 28 right now.
Oh, wow.
Boy,
Yeah.
I thought 16 was a lot.
Well, a lot of them are small, so there's that. But yeah, I think that's how many I've got right now. Is like 28 plus a couple jars and stuff. So yeah, like I don't know. I'm always torn on like how I should treat the jars because like realistically, like I tend to like let them get some algae and then I'll put a bunch of like baby guppies or Medaka in there. But then I think about it and I'm like, well, maybe if people see that though, they'll think that I'm like raising them in there. So then you have to be really clear. And then people start getting into like, well, should they even be in there at all? And it's like, they're baby guppies. I raise them in like a yogurt container when they're a few weeks old sometimes, like you've seen the way fish get bred, you find any container you can put them in it without a filter even a lot of times. So yeah.
Probably especially when you get a lot of them or something.
Yeah, well, especially like nano fish, like a lot of them you don't want to turn the filter on or you don't want to do water changes because they're just so fragile. So you just kind of leave them be in like a, high tannin or black water type tank. So, I mean, right now, actually, I'll show you. I've got in the fish room, the lights usually don't go on till like 3 or 4 now because I like spending time in there at night, But I'll turn some lights on in now. But I've got quite the mess of containers in here. And what the heck? What's going on here?
Hello, Casual Aquatics and UG Aquatics. Or Aquatics. UG Aquatics. Yeah, that's how you say that.
Of Aquatics?
Yeah.
Oh, UG. Man, that's weird. Hold on. This Twin Star. These lights are expensive, but they're real fidgety. Like, if the plug isn't just right, a lot of times they won't turn on. It's really annoying. I wonder what's going on.
So Michael Morgan said that I've been watching your microscope streams and enjoy them very much. Crazy all the things that live in the aquarium.
Oh, right? I know. Well, thank you, first of all. But, I mean, yeah, I've been surprising myself with some of the stuff that I see in there. I'm like trying to figure out what it is as fast as I can. Like, but this year, especially with like a pond that's been set up outside for a year, like we've got some crazy stuff going on in there that doesn't, it's not in the like hand guide of what could be in your, not that there really is one, but what should be in your aquarium, you know? So that's weird. I'm trying to get the one tank that I actually like feel like, oh, it's all clean and I can share it. And of course the light doesn't want to turn on. So isn't that always the way?
And Dr. Anthony wants to know if you know what fangers are.
Man, I've been laughing this whole time at that comment. I'm sitting there laughing. I'm like, I hope they don't think I'm laughing at him.
It stems from Wednesday. Because that's how I said fingers. I said fangers.
Fangers.
Bangers.
Crow daddies.
I went all hillbilly on him. He didn't like it. He couldn't decipher my language.
I used my fingers to catch them crawdaddies up in the creek.
So Funny Viper says, Alex, I enjoy your stream so much and think you're so intelligent and wise. I learn something new from you every single time. Your tanks are amazing.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you. People are being very nice. People are being very nice, except for the professor. No, I told them I wanted to come be Gilligan on a show with you guys.
We could do
there. You go.
And we need a Mary Ann too.
Yeah.
We did a 3-hour tour together.
Who do you got in mind?
I don't know. Who's a good Mary Ann?
I got a couple in mind.
Yeah.
Shannon?
Yeah,
and then Razor too.
Shannon can be the Mary Ann.
Yeah. Yeah, see, like, if you count containers like this, I probably have about 35 if you count all the weird little things I have going, like on windowsills and backed up behind other places. Oh, also, I got some female. Wait, let me turn this around so you guys can actually see what I'm trying to show you. Come on. So, I got Scarlet Baddis from and a real female. So a lot of people are always asking, what does a real female Baddis look like? She can have stripes, but never any red anywhere on her, or any metallic blue other than on her front pectoral 2 fins. So she'll have one line, and here's a male and female, and there's a male right there. And yeah, so I traded a macrostoma betta for them. And you can see right here, I had shrimp in there. There's literally like 15 dead shrimp, Malawi shrimp, which was okay. I had a ton of them in here. But like every shrimp they've killed in the tank in 24 hours. They're slightly aggressive when they make a nest. And then I've got also the smallest betta next door, Betta minopina. There's 2 of them. I've got a pair of them, and then there's some rainbow shiners that should be going out into the pond soon. And Medaka rice fish, and then in here, these are their babies, but there are, I don't even know how many, probably 60. Like, if you start looking, there's just babies all over the place in this little container. They're like at the top. You can see them all over in that seaweed. You can actually see them. And it's a wasser tongue.
Wow,
but,
that's crazy.
Yeah, so, and they're these ones with the orange head from Aquatic Arts. So I'm excited for them to grow out. They make a good base fish for like crossing with, like I've got the platinum ones here and the yellowtail platinums.
Oh, that's neat.
I only got 2 that have that yellow gene, but boy, I think they're cool, and I'd love to get that yellow gene to pop out more and more of the fish, because I haven't seen like a truly yellow Medaka in the States anyways. So,
So,
yeah.
Steph asked, what is one of your breeding projects you're working on now?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, definitely one of them is the beta. Hold on, let me trying to show you guys the new shrimp I got too. And right now I'm basically just acclimating them, but I will be. There's so many in here, and the glare is kind of bad. Let's see if we can get it so there's not as much glare. There's baby shrimps all over the front, so it's kind of hard to focus through them. But I got some steel blue and steel red coals from Grant over at Garden of Eder. And so I've got those with the Stardust Caridina. And so hopefully, let me pull them forward. Hopefully they'll cross because they should be compatible. And there's all sorts of little baby tangerine tigers in here, and then the ones that are hiding are the cheetahs, and Grant and I are trying to figure out for sure what species they are out of the wild, because they're actually true wild species, but they're really pretty. I mean, they're a real nice looking shrimp. Here, we'll clear the way so we can see them, and I'll move the light over them a little bit more. But whatever's going on in this little 2.5-gallon tank with no filter and no heater, they're loving it. I mean, there are just baby shrimp all over this thing. And I don't even really feed them much. And it's just a mix of caridinas. And then there's a few red pregnant females, cherries, that are just like in there. But I mean, the caridina, I've never had them do so well as from Grant strains down in Florida. And I think that his something about the way he's raising them, like here's a middle-aged one too. I'm trying to find one that will stay still so we can, like, here's a blue Stardust. So that's one breeding project that I got going on, is crossing these different caridina lines. And in the process of crossing them, Grant and I are kind of trying to see which ones are like caridina serrata, which ones are caridina cantonensis, which ones are caridina japonica, and so on. And then another major breeding project I have is this little fella with the long fins. This may be the rarest fish I've ever had. If I could get it to focus. There we go. That little rasbora is the Somfong rasbora, and it is a long fin mutant, and it's got the long veil tail fin. And I happened to spot it at the fish store last week, and I grabbed it because I've spawned these fish several times before. Here's some normal ones. They look kind of like chili rasboras, except they have this iridescent stripe down their side, and the males tend to be blue and kind of golden, and sometimes a little bit of bronze, and then the females tend to be more like yellow and orange. And these fish were extinct in the wild, and then in 2006, there's the longfin again. In 2006, somebody sent 10,000 of what were supposed to be these ones over here. They're sending over the glow light rasboras, like this one here, as babies that were caught in the wild outside of Bangkok, Thailand somewhere. And they ended up sending a bunch of them, and out of the bag, one looked off. So the guy who was working happened to be the grandson of the guy who discovered the fish species, and he actually spotted them and was like, "Those are Somfongzi rasbora." And in 2006 at Aquarium Glosser, then they spawned them. They found a total of 3. They found one female, 2 males. And every fish that's in the hobby is from those 3 fish. So basically 2 fish, really, the male and one of the females first spawn. Then they use the other female. But or I mean the other male, but it's very. I mean, they were probably all related to begin with, but nobody ever found them in the wild again. And for size, these are full grown next to Chili rasboras and
Yeah.
Phoenix rasboras, and I mean the long fin. I've never seen on anything other than a Chili rasbora. And those are pretty unusual. Oops, sorry.
Yep,
My water literally dropped on the phone screen or the camera screen and closed it.
that's
But
crazy.
so
So
yeah, yeah,
with
go
that
for it.
with that fish, it's very rare to have the long fins in.
Yeah, like I haven't seen any documented. I've seen a few chili rasboras that had long fins. Like in a forum online, I've seen two ever, and they tried to breed them out, but it wasn't showing up in the genes. So what
So
I got to do is I've been putting two females with this long fin male here, and I've been putting them in the shrimp tank and basically feeding them real well and all week. So for 3 days they were in here, and then they go back in the community tank, and then they go into another tank. So I'm going to have a bunch of different tanks. And then their babies are really difficult because they take 3 or 4 months to really show up at even Medaka rice fish baby size. Like it'll take them 3 months to get that big.
wow.
So it's really hard to find the babies. And if you put them in too small of a container, then they eat their own eggs all the time. So the best bet is just to throw them in a shrimp tank that doesn't have many fish in it. And so I like to use my shrimp tanks since they're usually pretty low acidity, like 6 point something, and the TDS is always under 100. And so I like to use my shrimp tanks as my spawning tanks for my nano fish. And I also got some other new nano fish in here that came from the wet spot in Portland, and I'm surprised they're not at the front of the glass. They have been for like the last week since I got them, but I think it might just be the brightness of the time of day. But let's see, where are they? Let's see if we can get them to come out. Oh, here comes one. So I got these. They're called green pencil fish. Here's one, and they're just not super common in the hobby, but they're like a sea foam to a metallic green and then silver when they're stressed. But so like if I chase them around, they'll just be silver and blackfish. But
Yeah.
at night they look real good, especially if you got a few like leaves with tannins on them and stuff. But they're pretty easy to confuse with that little longfin guy right there.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, I see that.
And then I got these ember barbs, which are from Africa, that don't get any bigger than this either. So this is like the super teeny fish tank.
Yeah, it's
You know?
definitely a nano tank.
Yeah, everybody in it stays under an inch, like more like 3/4 of an inch. So we'll see. They were in here a week ago in this shrimp tank, and then for like 2 nights, and then they were back in there again until yesterday for another 2 or 3 nights. So now I'll leave them out of there and just wait for a few weeks and not do any water changes and see what we get. And it should be interesting. I mean, I don't know. And I'll have to take these Medakas out, even though they're only like 2 or 3 weeks old. I'll be taking them out in the next few days. So that's one project. Another project is this line of guppies, endlers and guppies. And simultaneously, I think it's too much going on in here with the Medaka and the endlers. But these apistos, which are called kaite apistos, and here's the female, here's the male. There's 5 of them in here too in a 29, and they're running all over the place. But they have 4 caves to pick from, and one male's established a cave, and then there's 2 females that have picked the other 2 caves. And so I'm hoping they'll spawn, but so far they go through the motions, they color up, and they're not spawning. So this tank is like a little bit of everything, but that's kind of how all my tanks are. Like they're all kind of keeping multiple fish. Like this one has the bettas in them, the what do you call them? Valenti or samurai, as they're sometimes called. And we've got a pair here.
Yeah.
There were more. The other one died during a fight with another male, and actually the injuries are still visible on the side of this male. But this male is all colored up for spawning. Usually the females are more colorful in the samurai bettas, but the way you can tell them apart is the males have a throat pouch for keeping the babies, and so when it's not expanded, you can still see there's like stripes on that throat pouch. And when they get real like excited and show off, then they expand it out kind of like a dewlap on a lizard or something. And so that's one thing that I'm hoping will spawn. Also, the Enigmatochromis muconzi that are in here that are just a beautiful little another dwarf cichlid. I'm hoping they'll spawn. And likewise, they're turning the colors and everything, but they haven't spawned. So I don't know if it's going to have to just be, needs to be the right season. And like that season would be coming up soon. I'll have them a year in September. So unless summer is just their season, I'll have to try putting them in different water after that. And then the last like major project, or not like, I don't know what to call it, but is this guy who's hiding in here, and it's the Agrocara aguayensis, I think is how you say it. And he's super pretty fish. Let me try to get light on him. He's purple and blue and metallic and yellow.
Oh wow!
But he's real shy.
He looks like he's got a constant big like a smile on his face.
Yeah. He reminds me of like a papu, or like one of those like more or like a geophagus or some sort of like more rounded face fish. But it's crazy. The red root floaters in this tank, I know there's algae in here too, but the red root floaters are blood red on top and on bottom, which I guess it's just because the light is literally like 2 inches above them. But yeah, so those are kind of the big projects right now. And then I've got gold barbs and what are they? Gold barbs and rosy barbs and a bunch of albino paradise fish that I bred out in my tubs last year. And then there's also the Turkana jewel cichlids that get too rowdy in the day, but they're over there, and they're having a lot of algae. Like they like the algae, but there's too much in their tank right now. I'm a little worried, so I'm kind of cutting down the light. And then I'm always working on 6 tanks of little 2.5 gallon guppy projects.
Yeah.
So those are the main ones. The other one, and I'm a little concerned why there's so much foam in here. Like I just tested this tank 2 days ago, like with strips, but let's test it again because I'm a little weirded out. Sometimes that foam can mean ammonia, but I think the filter's just clogged a little bit. But
I've had that with the filter before.
I love that tank.
Yeah.
So, what have you ever had archer fish before? Because someone had a question about that.
I haven't. I've researched them somewhat. I mean, like because I've wanted them, and I was real surprised when I first found out. Like, there's a whole bunch of species of archer fish. Like that kind of blew my mind.
I don't know what species Bunny Viper has, but she was wondering if.
I'm guessing clouded, probably. That's what almost every.
Right, that's what I was thinking too, about how to breed them and stuff. But I'm sure there's probably so many different ways to do it. If you actually haven't done it yourself, that would be hard to touch on.
Right. I don't actually. Yeah, I haven't really done the research into that. I've just done the research into like what they need to survive.
Right.
And more taxonomy stuff. Like I just find it super interesting that I found these old accounts from India, which used to include Bangladesh, also, as part of the country when the British controlled it. And they are talking about how I'll turn it around back so it's looking at me. Hold on. But yeah, they used to send officers out into remote places, and when the British officers were in Bangladesh, they reported that they'd sit at the there's like these areas where they built shrines and temples all along the Irwadi River, I think is what it is. And they were sitting there on this like stone or concrete dock / bulkhead that's goes along the river. It's like ancient from like 1500 years ago. It's like an old Indian temple kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they'd sit there at night and watch the sun go down and watch the fishermen bring in the fish and stuff. But there's a report of them sitting and telling jokes and like chatting, and they were smoking their tobacco pipes, like these guys in the British military. And they'd start packing it, and when they'd like puff it up and like make it bright to get it burning well, all of a sudden out of the water, like coming 6 to 9 feet, would be an arc of water, and it would put out their pipe. And so there's like multiple reports of them talking about these fish putting out their pipes, and why you shouldn't smoke on a dock or on on the edge of a boat, like sitting on the edge of the boat. Which I thought was kind of funny that was their only that was their only thoughts on the fish or input on the fish, was that they were annoying because they put out their tobacco.
That's hilarious. We're doing that because they're like, hey guys, that is very bad to do that. You know, eventually you're gonna die from smoking.
Yeah, right. So the fish were trying to save the British. I'm sure that's the case.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out where the short is in this like light on this tank. Oh, it turned a color. Maybe I'm getting somewhere. Maybe the power pack isn't. Oh, that's it. All right, I'll turn it around again, because this is the tank I'm happiest with right now, as far as like how it looks, and I'm really having fun with this tank. This is all the littler fish, like the CPDs and the erythromicrons that are in here. I bred those from a group that I got from Aquatic Arts a while back. And then I got there's rosy loaches, which are really fun little nano fish if you haven't kept them. And then probably I would say the most underrated gourami out there, the thick lipped gourami. These guys are about the size of a like sunset or honey gourami, but they turn the most brilliant orange and pink colors when they're excited. Like there's a male over here that's really bright, and some of them, these ones are from Lake Inle in Myanmar, as are these glow light rasboras, or Danios rather. So everything in here, other than there's an ancestress that I put in there when it was a week old, and there's a Thai or Siamese algae eater that's in there to help control the algae. There's some algae growing in there, but this tank, other than that, the plants and the fish are all from Lake Inle, and there's 9 species total in here. So I'm pretty excited about this one. I'll just have those 2 fish that aren't native out, and then I'm going to enter the native biotope contest. Check this out. The Bacopa Moneri is really a pretty flower when it comes out of the water. And the interesting thing is, like, the flowers last like maybe 2 days at most. Like here's another flower, and you don't see them coming out like buds. They come out of a leaf that splits in half. I don't know if you guys can see that on this one.
Yeah.
But the leaf just splits in half, and all of a sudden, for a day or two, this beautiful little flower appears, either purple or blue, depending on the strain of plant, and then it just goes away again.
Wow.
So that's what's nice. This new Twin Star model, I don't like the arrangement of the red, like all being in the center, but that's for flowering underwater and immersed flowering, and it does its job really well. Having a little bit cooler spectrum, it's around 6,200 Kelvin rather than that like 6,600 Kelvin where like Fluval lights are. But here's another kind of interesting little doodad that I saw at the store, and maybe you guys have seen this, but it's just a piece of Anubias, and they used one of those little suction cups and the zip tie. And it's just Anubias. It looks like maybe Fraseri or Cophifolia. I don't know. It's hard to tell because it's immersed. It's not submerged yet, like transform was. But then you can just stick it on your glass and kind of disguise the little thing. I think that's kind of cool.
They sell them for like $10 at Petco.
Is that what? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I saw them the other day whenever I was there.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of clever. And so I was like, I'm going to make those myself, you know?
Man, Skipper, with your Petco, which it has all the cool stuff. We don't have none of that where I go. All we got is dead fish.
It totally depends on the Petco and how busy they are, too. Like, if they have a lot of business and a lot of fish get sold, then they get the real fancy, like, selection. There's, like, 4-tier system there, and so some of them actually can order like CPDs and like shrimp and even like crystal shrimp and stuff, but most are tier 2 or 3, and they can order some cherry shrimp and that's it. But yeah, so I mean, this is I don't know, I'm pretty happy too with how the red Crypspiralis tiger and the red Crypspiralis plain, how they're growing out.
Oh,
they look real nice, especially with the fact that every fish in Lake Inlay has red or orange on it, which I don't know why. I mean, my only thought, and I talked with Dr. Anthony about it for a moment and was like, do you have any thoughts on it? But we were kind of talking, and one of the things about the lake is its deepest spot is only 15 feet deep, and you start to lose the color red around, I don't know, 9 feet or so. And so it could be that they are the depth of the lake has made it so that that color really still stands out, and red and orange are still worth producing metabolically, whereas deeper water fish it isn't, or black water fish, and that water in that lake is like crystal clear. So there's that. Oh, I was going to say the other thing I was going to put outside soon is, if I scoot some of these frigging plants out of the way.
Oh, it's a lot of plants.
Yeah. But in here,
I love it.
We got the red cories from Venezuela. We got the orange cories from Venezuela in another tank. But then we've got Rhamnocentris ornatus and cochus. But the Rhamnocentris ornatus are cool fish. They're the ones with the red tail there and the black kind of outlines on their fins on the males. And they're about maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches long, full grown, and they can withstand water down in around 60-degree range too. So I'm hoping to put them in the pond this year. They just need low TDS and no nitrates, like none. So I just need to keep up water changes and put like maybe some sort of aerator in the pond if I decide to fully do that. But yeah, so I'm thinking I'll do that with them. And there's also these Burmese multi-line loaches or multi-bar loaches. I don't know, they have like 5 different names in the trade. And I don't know if they have a Latin name yet either. They didn't like 2 years ago. But they are also in here, and they've been spawning, just doing their own thing, like in this tangle of plants. Yeah. And so they're another one, though, that I know lives up in the Thai and Myanmar and like Burmese and in the in the Thai mountains. And so it gets pretty cold up there. The water's like 50 or 60 degrees. So, yeah. But yeah, I love these little quarries, the little Venezuelan ones.
I have some of those. I got some of the black Venezuelans now too.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, those are fancy. I see a lot of these getting sold as like people calling them the orange ones or the red ones. And you see them and you're like, well, when you see a real one like this one, you see how orange and rusty color they are or how red they can
Yeah.
be especially when they're spawning. Like this guy's just chilling. But when they're spawning, I mean, they turn like almost like this color red,
Yeah. They get a pretty
And
deep red.
yeah, and then their gray spot on them. There's a few of them hanging out all together in here, but they turn they've got since they're the Aeneas quarry like taxonomically anyways, they're the same quarry as the orange laser, the green laser, the blue laser, the purple laser, which is the new one. And then they're the same as also the black Venezuelan, the red Venezuelan, the bronze quarry, the emerald quarry, and there's one other. Most of the albinos in the trade are Aeneas quarries. So they're probably no, they easily are the most common quarry in the hobby by their big species. But I think the subtleties of that metallic blue on them is just as pretty as the orange too.
Oh yeah.
So they're
Yeah,
kind of cool.
I found them actually at a Petco, and they normally don't have them.
Oh,
And
nice.
whenever they had them, I grabbed pretty much all of them up.
See,
Yeah.
like I said, their Petco where Skipper lives has everything.
That's a score. That's a score right there. That's for sure.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was like, "You got this? Ain't no Julie. Normally, that's all they have is Julie stir-bys." And then they started getting pygmies in, and I grabbed a bunch of them up.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they usually, I've noticed they carry maybe, 20 or 30 species that are not just dying at the Petcos, even,
Yeah.
and that's what the good ones around here up in Seattle.
The key to it is whenever you see that they get them, wait until, I don't know, about a week or so, and then go back in it, and if they still have them, you grab them.
Yeah, totally. I do that for any common fish if I'm doing like tank sale shopping or food shopping or whatever. But the other thing, and most of these shrimp in this tank are the Malawi shrimp, from the island of Sulawesi. But these shrimp I've been breeding into blue variety. I posted a whole post about it on my community tab a while back, but they started off completely clear with a hint of like tan or a hint of gray, and now I've got them all the way to like a sky blue and all the way to like a rusty red color in 7 years of fiddling with their genetics.
That's cool.
And I would say that these are probably better than, pound for pound, probably better than Amanos at cleaning algae, which I appreciate. And they are way hardier. Like I have them in tanks where the pH is 8.0 and the TDS is like 400 and the nitrates are 40 or 50. And then I have them in tanks, like there's one of the little blue ones. The other two need to be cold. And then I have them in tanks where the pH is 5 and it's full of tannins. So they definitely are the most versatile shrimp species out of about 15 or 20 that I've kept over the years. So,
okay.
Yeah. I really like them.
Skipper, wow, that it just hit my mind. I just now remember, but anyway, that guy, that I got my Plecos from, I highly recommend you going to the site right now because he's got about 4 or 5 different species of cories and he's selling them for a great deal.
Yeah, you're talking about TM Aquatics.
Yeah, Tom at TM Aquatics. Yeah, I mean, dude, if I'm not mistaken, he's selling those ones that you want really bad, those Barbaduses. I think he has them for like $9 a piece or something right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
cool.
I gotta set a 40-gallon breeder up first. So.
Oh yeah.
Because them ones they get like
They got 6 inches or something up there.
I'll bring that up again here. Matter of fact, I'm going to do that now. But yeah, I got to set up a 40 breeder for those because they get like 4 inches. And also, I'm going to be getting some rainbow shiners off of ABC.
Oh, nice.
TM, if I'm not mistaken, I did see him, but you had some of those quarries called Kanakis. Kanakis quarry that he has on there too for sale.
So there's a couple things I want to bring up before we end this stream. One of them is this one right here. On June 11th on this channel, myself, Vinay, Robert, he doesn't know it yet. He just got tied into it. Mon and Degenerate Keeper Jason, we're going to be holding a Fish Fam auction on June 11th at 8 p.m. And what that is for is it benefits you guys because I'm not making nothing off of it. None of us are. Vinay wanted to help people out, and that was his way of giving back. Was hey, I brought this idea up. So you know me, I like to help everybody out as much as I can, and I said let's do it. So that's one thing. If you want to be involved in future Fish Fam auctions, which we're going to have them once a month, you're going to send an email to fishfamauction@gmail.com, and we will put you on the list. What it is to help each other out and to show what amazing stuff that people have and that are breeding in the Fish Fam. So the next thing that I wanted to bring up is this right here. There's a pizza party that for the Fish Fam at the Keystone Clash. He announced it a lot. We announced it last night on Scotty's stream. Shrewsbury Pets is sponsoring a bunch of pizzas for us all to have a hangout. We're going to go into a restaurant, which will not house us all because they're all small there. And they are donating the pizza today.
Oh, nice. Just don't put the pineapples on the pizza.
I think it's going to be very basic.
Wait, did I mention?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
We got to do
So, if you guys watch the channel, you guys are getting a sneak peek. This morning, my wife and I went out. We went to these ponds that are right next to Lake Washington. And this winter, well, last year, if you watch, it's an old military base that half of it's a park, half of it's locked off. Well, the locked off half has a bunch of ponds in it, which is great. So I go there and I take pictures and I try to see what's in there. I found, goldfish and a few random things. Well, last year I saw something that was almost 20 inches long and about as big around as like a banana, and just making a mess in the middle of a very shallow pond. And I thought it was a snakehead. Well, it turns out that it was these Okinawan gold dojo loaches or weather loaches. And last year I found over 50 of them with my net alone. And most of them were around this size. A few were the biggest one was 19 inches, 18 or 19 inches, which is way bigger than they get in the aquarium usually. So then over the winter, I thought, well, how are they going to survive? It freezes solid there. So it freezes solid, and I double checked. I went there when it was snowing because it's just a pretty area, and was there, and it froze super solid, 6 inches deep, probably solid. And yet now I come in May and I throw my net in and I get smaller ones than got last year. and these are invasive Japanese dojo loaches living in Washington State. And it's the second year I've found them. So
That's something different. Oh, I forgot to say something. I'm sorry, Alex. Also, with that pizza party thing, there's a forum that Lefty has.
Oh,
If you're going, please go onto that forum so we can get a head count. So that way we can figure out how many pizzas, because I don't want them to buy a crap ton and not need it. It's just a waste.
yeah, you got to figure out how many pineapples to cut up.
No, don't do that to the pizza.
So one of the things that you do that I really like that you do, because I'm involved with the Aquatic Morning Show on my days off when I can, is your history that you do for her.
Oh yeah, that's been fun.
You've been doing that for quite a while now.
Yeah, I think we're going to be this week. We'll be on episode, like, we'll get up to 85, maybe 86, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's every day. Members of my channel, which, the thing is, I hate gatekeeping knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to do this completely full time. But the problem is medical bills have kind of made it so it's like, oh, I can do it full time, and then I get like $6,000 in bills that build up because of various health issues I've had over the last years.
Right.
And it's like, oh, I can't do it full time. So then I'll take on these side jobs, and then I start getting busy, and I just hate that. And I'd love to devote my time to this. And so I thought, I don't want to start charging $5 or $10 for membership and all that. And like, we already have guest speakers, like an online fish club kind of thing would.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to basically bring scientific like experiments, people who are experts, grad students, people who have kept one fish for a long time in their life, people like that I want to have on the channel. And then the other thing I want to do is what I love to do, which is going back and finding the history, as well as looking at the modern day headlines and academic research, and then kind of following back, like, who was it who started, who discovered this, or who was it who first bred them in captivity, and like finding a story there. And the longer I do this, the more like all these things are like intertwined in interesting ways that like I just happen to remember, which is really cool. And so when Jess asked, like, would you want to do like a morning live correspondence thing, I was like, I can't do it every morning because I just can't be up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
West Coast every day. I don't want to commit to that and then fail. And so I said, well, what if I pre-record them? And the thing was, like, I wanted to give something back to my members because it means so much to me when people super chat or when they, donate.
Yeah.
So anybody who pays $1.99 gets all those episodes early. And so it's incentive for me to make them so that the members get something special and early. But at the same time, I don't feel right about saying, pay me money or else you don't get educational content. It feels wrong to me. And so in that sense, I feel like the morning show is where people can go for free. There's ads and there's other things going on there, and people hanging out and chatting, and that's all fine. But it's not quite the same as sitting down and watching all 4 or 5 of the episodes at once like you can on my channel. But it's accessible. So like if people really want to learn it, they can go watch the replays, and hopefully that helps Jess's channel, and everybody else who's guests on her channel. So it kind of worked out as like the best of both worlds, but it is a lot of work. Usually I have the scripts written and the sources and like the studies or articles that I want to talk about. And then, I do research and I get down a rabbit hole, and then I end up thinking like, oh, that'd make a good standalone episode, and then I'm like, well, no, I'll just make it a mini episode. But before, those were like my episodes basically.
Okay.
And now I'm doing those 4 or 5 times a week, plus 2 live streams, plus 2 or 3 videos. So it's kind of like 8 pieces of content a week usually. So it keeps me busy, but I feel like there's an endless story. And I remember when I started my channel, I live in the same area as Corey, and I asked aquarium co-op, I asked him for some tips and stuff, and he was just like, well, I think you need to kind of maybe broaden your scope, because like, what are you going to talk about? The history of aquariums? Like, that seems like maybe like 3 or 4 episodes at most. And to me, I was like, as a history major, I thought, like, what? Like, to me, it feels like an endless topic. Like, if you tie in like the new research that's going on when they find new species and environmental research, and then talking about like what happened on this day in history and famous ichthyologists and science that crosses over different fields, and like, biomimicry, and like the Defense Department is always studying fish, and pharmaceuticals are always studying fish, finding out that they cure something or other because of like an enzyme they have. Or so to me, it just seems like an endless topic, but it's really nerdy. And I think that's probably like where you have to be on a certain frequency of really loving the hobby and fish to like get a kick out of it. So
Yeah, because I think with like what you do, there's just so much information. You're going to learn something every time, even whenever you just watch one of your regular streams. You're going to learn something.
Definitely.
It kind of works out. I mean, thanks. I appreciate that, because that's the goal. But it kind of works out. I mean, in theory, like, I have an archaeology and history degree and anthropology, which is you have to have the archaeology degree. But because of that, like, I had to take a little bit of chemistry, not an expert by any means, not a master's level amount, as a little bit of geology, a little bit of water chemistry, a little bit of biology and anatomy, and soil and ecology. Like, all these different things go into digging up a spot and analyzing things, and so it gives you, I feel like, oddly enough, I didn't expect it to, but it gave me a pretty good foundation of like basic understanding, enough to then go into the real like nerdy, boring, dry stuff that you're reading through pages and pages, that you're like, you could have said that way easier with like, the water got colder, but instead there are 7 vectors, and one vector showed a 2% change in the affirmative. So yeah, but yeah, it's been fun. So I think I'm gonna keep up with that as long as I can keep up with the pace.
Well, I mean, I can definitely say on behalf of everybody that watches your channel that we all love and enjoy the content that you bring us, and just
thanks, man.
Don't change, man. Just don't
Well,
change, because we love it.
Thank you. I mean, I think the only change would be, if I could afford it, I would probably get an editor to like do better B-roll and like go out and help me, and like polish it a little bit, because there's some people who won't watch if it's not polished. But to me, like, I'm a very like, I love podcasts. So to me, the information's more important than the footage, unless the whole point of it is the footage, like National Geographic or something, And I feel like I can only make so many videos that are amazing to look at, even if I do it full time. But I can make a lot of videos that are amazing to think about, that's kind of my goal. So yeah,
It's awesome. That's all.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. I mean, and I like hanging out too in other streams, because then, like, I get carried away in my own. So it's fun to just putz around and show people what I'm up to and stuff. So, yeah. Thanks for having me, though. I really appreciate it. It's been fun. And anytime you want to collaborate or come on my channel or whatever, you guys are both welcome. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
We got a minute left. Holy cow.
Went fast. So I won't shut up. Sorry.
No, that's good though. I mean, you got a lot of wealth of knowledge, and that's great. I mean, one of the things that I'm trying to do is get back to talking about fish, because I think that's what we need, and it'll help get more other people interested in different types of fish.
Yeah. I think too, there's a lot of, and I like these videos, but there's a lot of top 10 videos and like feeding my fish X, Y, or Z, and check out these monster fish doing this or that. And those kind of videos that are like entertainment videos and a spectacle, like I see why they're the most popular, but I kind of wanted to provide like a back channel for once you're a little bit burnt out on that for the day and you want to go learn about like the fish you have. Like I kind of thought about it as if you were locked in a prison cell that was a fish tank and you had to think about all the ways you are linked to the global economy and the world just by adding in fish and plants and stuff. It's incredible. You got plants from every continent. You got glass made in China, you got other stuff made in the US or Germany or France or Italy. So like where humans intersect with the hobby and where other sciences intersect with the hobby is like an endless topic. So I've just found it like to be a part of the hobby that is rewarding for me, and I would be probably doing anyways in my free time. And just like I find myself craving that, but it's just a nice like framework of like how to look at something. Otherwise, I would have been maybe looking at history with like World War II or one country in mind, or something like that as my kind of like area of interest. But instead, making it like a through line about fish, like you cover all these different things and
it's
different.
Global.
Yeah.
What it comes down to, it's global, and there's so many. Like everybody got fish in their country.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's a couple places, maybe not Antarctica,
Yeah.
But the majority, there's fish everywhere, and there's so much to learn out there. It's not even funny. I mean, there's stuff that they're still, they're still discovering.
Oh yeah, I mean, last year 212 new species alone. I mean, of freshwater fish. Like that's crazy.
Imagine the saltwater fish that they haven't even found yet.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, but we've not even scratched a quarter of what's out there.
No. But we know more about the topography of Mars than we know about the topography of the bottom of the ocean. We just got a new satellite that apparently will be able to map better, but I mean,
I saw that too.
That's wild. Like, yeah.
You could do that with the ocean too, then, if you're doing that in outer space. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah.
But all right, everybody, I want to thank you all for showing up tonight. Everybody get on over to Susie Q and watch her live.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robert, for coming up tonight, being my co-host, and Alex, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, and good to see you guys. Thanks everybody for watching. You can see me on my stream if you guys want to chat, hang out again on Tuesdays at actually no, I'm changing it to Monday at 7:30 or 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, and then Friday is the other day, and I do those at 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern ish.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, man.
Here, we gotta go.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody have a good night.